Welcome to the future of factory automation.
This program is a broadcast of a Japanese podcast that has been translated into English using Notebook LM.
So we got this really interesting question in from one of you listening.
Ah, yes.
Radio name for Bon Hassan, thanks so much for the message and for always tuning in.
Yeah, great question.
You were asking about, well, the differences in how government and industry work together in manufacturing, specifically comparing Europe, like Germany, with Japan.
Focusing on innovation and global competition.
Right. And you also specifically brought up the Toyota production system, TPS. It's a really fascinating topic.
Absolutely.
So we've been digging into this translated Japanese podcast source to sort of pull out some insights.
It really gets to the heart of how different, industrial giants tackle staying competitive. And it's true, when you think government-industry links, Germany often comes up first.
It does, yeah. Almost the textbook example people point to, isn't it?
It really is. The gold standard, maybe?
But then you look wider. You've got China, the U.S., massive players.
Each doing things their own way, definitely.
And sometimes it feels like Japan, well, despite its amazing manufacturing history, maybe isn't as vocal about its own specific strengths here.
That's a really sharp point. It's easy to think a lower profile means less going on, but that's definitely not true for innovation in Japan.
Okay.
The podcast we looked at actually, it brought up some really concrete examples, stuff that came out of Japan.
Like what?
Well, think about the QR code. So common now, right? We use them constantly.
Every day, yeah. Easy to forget where they came from.
Exactly. Japanese invention. And then more on the industrial side, they mentioned CC-Link and Metrotrolink.
Right, CC-Link and Metrotrolink.
Yeah.
Now, for someone maybe not deep in factory automation, what are those exactly? Why are they, significant?
Okay, so think of them like specialized digital languages for machines on a factory floor. Ways for controllers and devices to talk to each other really, really efficiently and reliably.
Gotcha. Like internal communication networks.
Pretty much. CC-Link is kind of a well-established, super robust highway for industrial data, sharing info, coordinating actions, all in real time.
Okay. And Metrotrolink?
Similar idea, but often geared towards like higher speed stuff, more precise motion control applications.
Ah.
The fact that Japan developed these standardized ways for machines to talk, that really shows a strength in creating, the fundamental building blocks for advanced manufacturing.
Foundational technologies, yeah. That makes sense. That enables all the more complex stuff.
Precisely.
The podcast also touched on government support, specifically semiconductors in Japan recently. That seems like a pretty direct case of government and industry collaborating.
Oh, absolutely. And it's really interesting seeing Japan identify these strategic sectors like semiconductors and then actively stepping in.
How so? What kind of examples did they mention?
Well, the discussion brought up the possibility of TSMC, the huge global chip maker, potentially setting up operations in Japan.
Right, I've heard about that.
And also this national project, Rapidus, up in Hokkaido. The goal there is developing next-gen chip manufacturing.
Okay, so serious initiatives.
Definitely. And these involve significant government funding. So it shows there is a clear intent to boost domestic production and innovation in such a vital area.
It's a clear signal, yeah. But the podcast also kind of hinted that maybe the scale of investment is different compared to, say, China.
Yeah, that point was raised. It suggests that while Japan is making strategic moves, the approach might be more targeted, or perhaps just working within different economic realities compared to countries with these massive state-driven investment programs.
So different philosophies, maybe.
Could be. Doesn't automatically mean one's better, just
Yeah.
different priorities in how governments back industry.
Okay. Then the conversation shifted a bit towards a challenge I found really interesting, the difficulties in getting universities and industries to, properly collaborate in Japan.
Ah, yes, the university-industry link.
Especially on the real practical stuff, the nuts and bolts of manufacturing and production. I can see how that would be a bottleneck for innovation.
This is super crucial, and the podcast highlighted a very specific problem. Often what industry needs help with are these very practical, on-the-ground issues, like optimizing how PLC program operations are designed, which, is basically the software running the automated machines.
Yeah.
Stuff that directly hits efficiency, productivity.
Right. The kind of problem that could save a factory real money or boost output. So where's the disconnect with the universities?
The challenge is these very practical applied problems. they don't always mesh with traditional academic incentives,
Mm.
meaning universities, researchers. They're often judged on publications, academic
Mm.
journals. Solving a specific PLC coding issue for one company, however valuable for them, might not result in a publishable paper that helps a professor's career.
Ah, I see. The publisher perish issue.
Exactly. The podcast even shared this anecdote. Someone tried proposing research on like PLC object execution programming designed to universities
And
and found, well, a real lack of interest because it wasn't seen as traditional academic work.
wow, that really does paint a picture, doesn't it? It's like two different worlds. Industry needs practical fixes. Academia needs theoretical papers.
That's the core of it. And the podcast contrasted this with Europe, especially Germany. The perception there is much stronger links. Universities getting involved in research that directly tackles industrial needs.
Even in areas like, what was it, ladder logic?
Yeah, ladder logic, which is a fundamental programming language for industrial controllers, and just general industrial software development.
And they floated the idea that European universities might even help develop industry standards.
Right.
Mentioned Schneider Electric's I/O standard as a possible example, maybe through national projects.
Right. That suggests a much more integrated ecosystem over there.
That seems to be the key phrase, integrated ecosystem.
It feels like the European model, or at least the perception of it, fosters a more seamless flow between government, industry, and academia. Leveraging everyone's strengths more effectively, maybe, for both basic research and practical innovation.
So, circling back to Ban Hassan's original question, how can Japan better foster these unique Japan-originated concepts? It sounds like it's not just saying, hey, universities and companies work together more.
No, definitely not that simple. The podcast really underscored the complexity. Just, mandating collaboration probably isn't enough if the underlying structures, the incentives aren't aligned.
Yeah.
There's even a sense of maybe some frustration or disconnect between the sectors. Suggests deeper, maybe systemic changes might be needed.
Okay. Now, Ban Hassan also asked about TPS, Toyota Production System. The podcast clarified something there, right?
Yes, just a small point of clarification. The question was sort of, is TPS related to government collaboration?
And the answer?
The podcast made it clear. TPS, the Toyota Production System, is a methodology developed by Toyota in Japan.
So incredibly influential, globally recognized, changed manufacturing everywhere.
Absolutely.
Born in Japan, but not really a direct government partnership thing.
Precisely. TPS is a brilliant example of a truly original Japan-born concept with massive global impact, independent of that direct government link.
And they mentioned other examples too, didn't they? Like G-code.
Right, G-code, which is fundamental for computer-controlled machines, another significant Japanese innovation that wasn't necessarily a government-driven project in the same way.
It really shows there's this deep wellspring of innovative thinking within Japanese industries themselves.
Undeniably.
Then the discussion took another turn towards potential regional imbalances inside Japan, how that might affect information flow and maybe innovation focus.
Yeah, that was insightful. The suggestion was maybe there's an overconcentration of focus, of information gathering in Tokyo and the surrounding area.
Okay, the capital region.
Right. And the podcast proposed this could lead to, well, a less complete picture of challenges, of opportunities in other parts of the country, potentially stifling innovation outside those main hubs.
That makes a lot of sense. If the media, the research places, the big HQs are all clustered,
then perspectives from other regions, potential breakthroughs, they might just not get the same airtime or attention.
you could end up with sort of homogenous information sources too, maybe.
That was exactly the point raised. A risk of groupthink, perhaps, because of that geographical concentration.
So wrapping up this deep dive then, it feels like Japan clearly has this amazing track record. Original, impactful concepts, QR codes, TPS, G-code.
No question about it.
But there are ongoing complexities in making that government, industry, academia collaboration work even better, especially for those really practical manufacturing innovation needs.
That seems right. And maybe some regional factors influencing things too.
It's a really complex picture. Japan's innovation capacity is obviously huge.
It absolutely is. The challenge, I guess, is continually tweaking and optimizing that whole innovation ecosystem, making sure new globally relevant standards keep emerging, keeping that competitive edge.
It's definitely given me a lot to chew on, thinking about how different countries tackle this intersection of government, industry, research.
Yeah, lots of layers. No single perfect model, probably.
Posting 200 daily episodes. Please follow and comment.
And maybe think about that balance. How does a nation celebrate its past wins while actively building the structures needed for the next big breakthroughs in today's competitive world?